let's settle down just a little. Thanks for coming. Is it about the budget or about the appointments? That's all that's on here tonight, that's right. So we're close enough.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Go ahead and call the roll. Mr. Rich,
Here.
Mr. Ellis,
Here.
Dr. Houghton,
Yeah.
Mr. Grooms.
Here.
Mr. Farley.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Mayor Goodwin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, so we'll have the invocation and the pledge of allegiance, followed by the pledge of allegiance.
Almighty God, thank you for this opportunity to come together and work together. We ask for your inspiration and insights. We ask for your direction and guidance. We ask for your peace and harmony. May we accomplish great things this day, and may we display an attitude of cooperation and respect. In your awesome name we pray. Amen.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So in the mayor's comments tonight, we've had a couple of tragedies so far, and the summer's just getting started. So, you know, I would say everybody really needs to be careful. Advise anybody coming to visit you to be careful, especially in the ocean. You never know when you get a rip current out there or undertow that's going to grab you. This young man visiting here from China probably didn't have a lot of schooling about rip currents and undertows, and you know, we just need to get that word out there as much as possible. Staff reports this evening. We have Aaron and Lacey for the Civic Club and City Coordination Halloween Carnival. Hard to believe we're talking about Halloween Carnival already.
So, we've got an email from Ms. Ray, the Civic Club president, and one of the things we do every year is we try to get ahead of coordinating with the Civic Club on the Halloween Carnival. This is one of the events that the city and the club work really closely on, and so we're just kind of outlining what sort of resources might be needed on our end so we can plan and prepare. This year, the city will be performing the stage setup and breakdown. We'll be moving the decorations out from the container. Public safety will be on hand to assist with crosswalks and other safety-related issues. And Eric will be doing kind of a pre-carnival check on the river park to make sure all the outlets work, the lighting work, and the bathrooms are open and clean. The witches dance and the house decorating will come completely in-house to the city this year. The Civic Club won't be handling those events. The details of those events are to be determined, but someone here at City Hall will come up with a plan to execute the house decoration and the witches dance, and we'll get that as soon as possible. So that's kind of the broad outlines of what we'll be doing and what the club will be doing this year for the for the Halloween Carnival. Questions?
Please help come volunteer. Right, Amy?
Right.
There you go.
Amy, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, really, you know, we are.
If you do, step on up. You know the rules, just so they get it on the record. Oh yeah, well, and here's the Halloween Carnival coordinator also. I didn't see Ms. Duke sitting back there.
So, I'm Amy Raines, or you can say my address,
No, we.
You know what you do.
You want to
Well,
give?
where I live too, so I
Chris-
got one of my kids on the street, and this is Christy Dukes. She's going to be chairing the Halloween Carnival this year for the Civic Club, and I'm just sort of helping reorganize the containers and the storage units, so we have a really good idea of what we have. And we're gonna kind of start there.
Right.
And, recreate some of the Halloween games, bring them back to some of the old wooden games, and, cakewalk, of course, and,
Relocated a couple of mouse families in the process, but.
And of course, the costume contest. So we're just gonna kind of bring it down to simple, and then I think in the city handling other things. So, but yeah, definitely if, anybody, you all or citizens have questions, ideas, anything like that, we're, happy to entertain them, and we will happy to take your muscles and help.
Are you
with
gonna
more
have,
volunteers.
are you
Yes.
gonna have that thing that you reached in the nose to get?
Do you want to?
The eyeballs, the spaghetti, I think we should bring that back, I mean, come on.
I think the kids loved it.
And that was like hand sanitizer.
I know.
Before COVID, before it was
Yeah.
like, you couldn't smell it anymore, and that smell, it was in my car forever.
We wanna bring back like the cemetery and everything, we've got all the tombstones and the black lights
Don't look
and all
at
that
me.
stuff, we really, really organized and know what we have.
Good.
So, hopefully, it'll be a one day, on Halloween, so, shall we?
Do you have the time?
Well,
Imagine it would start around 6, considering the sun is setting earlier, it's
On the
still
day.
dusk
On
during
the
that
day,
time,
yeah.
but
October.
that would allow October 31st, that would allow those little ones to get out there when it's still daylight, like it's
6 p.m.
And we did talk about flipping it and doing the costume contest earlier.
Right.
Because there are so many little ones, and by 7 o'clock when we're doing this, some of them are just losing it.
Right.
So we kind of do that early, and then everybody can truly just stay as long as they like. So,
Thank you, Ann.
questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Christie. Okay, move on to, Ms. Ritchie.
Hey guys, okay, got a little update on, our short-term rental licenses and processing. So right now, in-house, our team has processed 1,063 short-term rental licenses, which is an amazing feat, considering that each takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And there's 3 people in the department right now. So, out of that, 926 of those are the investment short-term rentals, those 6% property licenses, and 137 are owner-occupied rental licenses. We do have in-house about 150 left to process, and so that would put us at about 1213. We are hoping by the end of June that we will have our business licenses done. And we are handling the investment short-term rental licenses first, just to make sure that we've got those and all of their paperwork is in, and then those owner-occupied are coming after that. So, any questions? No? Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Yesterday. Okay, so we move on to approval of the agenda. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second? Second. So I'll make a motion that we remove resolutions 33-23 and 34-23 until the state has a chance to read the contracts, and then we'll be back next month with those in. Have need a motion second?
On the motion to remove the items, Mr. Rick,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Mr. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Barker. Yes. Mayor Goodwin,
Yes.
motion passes.
So back to the agenda as amended. Whenever you get ready.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Barker. Yes. Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin,
Yes.
passes as amended.
So, have a motion to approve the minutes from May the 9th.
So moved.
Have a second? Any additions or corrections? Just accept them without exception. so go to personal appearances, and the first one up is Lynn Belts. Ms. Belts. So what we'll ask you to do is you give your name and address, and then
Sure. My name is Lynn Bells, and I live at 1104 East Ashland, Folly Beach. And I would love to hand you a copy of this ordinance that was passed in Myrtle Beach, and it was passed May the 4th.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Lynn Bouts. I would like to thank Mr. Graham for allowing me to speak to City Council in regards to establishing an ordinance which prohibits the wearing of thongs on our beach. I provided members of council with a copy of the City of Myrtle Beach ordinance that permits the wearing of thongs. My mom bought a vacation beach house at 11th Street when I was 13 years old. When I was 24, I bought the lot next to our family beach house and moved a house onto the lot. I feel very attached to our beach. We have a very unique beach. As you enter, there's a beautiful boat landing on the right, a wonderful park on the left, two lovely churches on the right and one on the left, a public library, wonderful restaurants, parks, tennis, pickleball courts for us all to enjoy. Many residents and vacationers feel as I do. We need to follow suit with Myrtle Beach and ban thongs. We should not have to subject ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and all the revenue producing visitors to nudity at our beach. Council has wisely established rules prohibiting the use of alcohol, the control of animals, where you can serve fish, smoke, and the use of glass while on the beach. I'm asking City Council to continue to be proactive in the care of our beach and maintaining the family-orientated atmosphere by prohibiting the wearing of thongs on our beach. Thank you. Thank you, young men, for patrolling our beaches. I know y'all have a tough job. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
I had an experience, just quickly.
Okay.
I was visiting my nieces on 17th Street. I live at 11. And my three nieces are from the age of 35 to 40. And their mother was sitting there on the beach. And there was a young girl that came up just within this distance. And she had a thong on. And I didn't say anything. I was just wondering what my nieces would have said. And they started saying that this is so indecent. This is crazy that we're allowing this on our beach. And that made me feel kind of good that this came from the young group. And I don't want to see my grandson exposing someone's buttocks in front of them. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Alexis? Brenner? Reiner. Well, we're close. Thank you.
It's a hard one. You got that German spelling. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis.
My name is Alexis Tyner, and I'm here with
Annual Lung Forest Run Walk 5K, and we're so thankful to have hosted so many of those years here at Folly Beach, and we would like to request the use of Folly Beach to do that run walk again this year. Our proposed date is October 21st. I know for a long time we hosted the race on the road, and now that race is held entirely on the beach, as you'll see on the map on that third page there. And this run walk is a fundraiser for the American Lung Association, and the proceeds go to lung disease and lung cancer research. Our Breathe Easy Backpacks program that provides backpacks and school supplies for underserved populations, vape-free materials for youth, and as well as other research and cancer screenings for lung cancer patients.
So I have one question. Well, I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Second.
Okay. Have you looked to see what the tide is?
We did, which is actually why we.
Well, I was just looking,
went with
I didn't go that
date.
far down.
No, that's an excellent question. Yes, that's why we went with the 21st, is that the tide would not be impeding the use of the beach for that run walk.
It's gonna be low
Yes,
during that time.
yes.
Because most of the beach that you have mapped out on your map is non-existent at high tide. That's why I asked that.
It'll be low tide because it's in the morning as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you for that question.
Any other questions? We got one. All right. Yeah.
Mr. Farley.
Yes.
Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Roger Houghton.
Yes.
Mr. Rich.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Good luck with the weather that day too.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We looked at the mood too, so.
So the kayak scramble, Jake, Cauldrons?
That's a tough one, Colorado.
Cauldron, okay. We need to do some markings here so we can get them right.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm Jake Calderon, from Douglasville, Pennsylvania, so this is gonna be a new event proposal. I'm with Kayak Scramble, so it's a short distance kayak relay race. And, I work with Lacey, I don't know if she's here, I've never seen her. Yes. And, so I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have, because I know it's a new event proposal, and if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
So, reading through your process, it was, to it, you said on Fifth Street, is that Fifth Street east or west?
Fifth Street West, September 16th.
That's right around the anniversary.
I knew it was before. Yeah.
So I believe that's the week before.
So Fifth West.
Yeah. So have you looked at the tides?
Yes, I have. And I was here today looking at high tide and for September, so. I heard it's gonna be a short beach, but.
A very short
At
beach.
high tide.
Yeah.
But I did look and it's gonna be really pretty bad.
So when you say a short beach run, it's gonna be a short beach run?
Yes,
High tide.
at low tide, it'll be a little longer.
too bad.
High tide would be, you're still gonna be running, cause you're not gonna set in right at the, really shallow water, so. But there'll be multiple runs for each team. It's a tournament style, so.
Right.
You're expecting 250 people?
Yes,
estimate?
that's the estimate right now, yes.
Okay, and how do you, if you're Fifth West, how do you plan on getting the kayaks off the cars or parking the cars and then getting them off the cars and onto the beach?
So I talked with Rebecca last week, and she actually showed me around yesterday, and she, in talking with her, she said it was okay using West Ashley and West Cooper and surrounding public beach access parking lots, which I know the city has paid kiosks there for. And at that time of day, it starts at 8 a.m., so the kayakers will be getting there 6:30, 7 o'clock. They have time to walk to Fifth Street.
Would they be carpooling?
Most of them, yes, because the main event is gonna be a 4-man team, so
Right,
not
that's-
everyone will be using.
Could you encourage that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Or do you encourage?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, 'cause we want as less cars as possible. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So we, on Saturday,
Yeah.
even in September.
Have they talked to you guys?
Yeah, they went to the event committee.
Okay. So y'all were okay?
Yeah, so I actually had, Officer Wade there representing the Marine team. He actually questioned, and he was definitely okay with it.
Are you doing anything afterwards? You need
No, just the
doing a
tournament.
race and leaving?
Yeah, and like I said, it's tournament style, so it would be bleeding out throughout the day.
How long do you think it'll last?
We have a closing time of 5, but I
Yeah.
believe it'll be done. And whoever does remain at that time will be a small number.
Any other questions? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
No.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes.
Stay in touch with the,
Okay, we'll do, thank you.
new committee. So I'm missing Dr. Elko? Oh,
I'm here for the club.
no, we can't do that. See, they got her on the list, we can't. I'll just.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Surprise, that's on Facebook, it's gonna be late at night.
Thanks for that. I'm Carrie Rosen, I'm with the Folly Beach Wahine Surf Classic. This is Cheyenne. Hello. Yeah, thank you for having us.
So
We are asking for formal permission to hold our 21st annual Folly Beach Wahine Surf Classic.
Motion to approve. Second.
Are there any questions? I think y'all have been here enough, nobody has to ask a question.
Okay, well, that's, all right, thank you. Thank you all.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Let them vote.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you.
Shotgun. Who's good? Thank you.
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Pope, Mr. Wilson, council members, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak here. I think most of you know this is regarding property that I own at 220 West Arctic. Just to give you a little background on myself. Some of you know me by name, know me personally, some of you know my projects. Working out on the beach as an investor and a builder for about 10 years. I work closely with Mr. Lutz, Mr. Sullivan. We built multiple houses out here, some short-term rentals, some are occupied by full-time residents. Made a significant effort to improve some of the properties out here to make them FEMA compliant and to comply with life safety issues and applicable building codes, things of that nature. So regarding 220 West Arctic, my wife and I purchased this property June 18th, 2021. It was our intent to salvage the property and improve it and make it a short-term rental. The property had already had a short-term rental license, and through the result of some of the FEMA issues with the finished floor elevation being too low, termites, water damage, just general layout, costs, we decided it was gonna be more feasible to raise the property, which was actually in turn fully donated to charity, so it didn't just get torn down and thrown into a landfill. So from there, we went through the design process, DRB, the property was zoned island commercial at the time, went through DRB. That occurred in December. That was part of the agenda, the minutes from December 20th, 2021. During that time, it was always our intent to make this a short-term rental. We already had a short-term rental license. It was our intent we applied for a short-term rental license. That email was submitted by my wife to Stacy in November of 2021, prior to any of the new caps and ordinances either revised or changed or even coming up for discussion. So, interesting thing about that is that in November of 2021, that application was submitted to Amberley Flowers. It's our understanding, and I think I'd be correct, that at the time, Amberley Flowers was here, she was in a position of authority. Her reply to my wife was, "We will process the business license." We will. Shortly thereafter, several hours later, we got an email back from Amberley that says, "Well, we're not gonna process the short-term rental license now until you get a CO." So, basically, with a CO, you will get a license. That was in the content of her email, that was what was sent to us. Then, obviously, a lot changed. We were not able to get our short-term rental license. It was our belief that we would get a short-term rental license. With everything that changed, I submitted another short-term rental license application to the city. Unfortunately, that was in November. So, at that time, it was rejected by Stacy Ritchie. And then, my glasses on real quick. Then I went back to Aaron Pope, requesting another review of what we had submitted. Aaron Pope's interpretation on an email to me, and this is an email that you all have, email to me, in the forward attachment provided to you all, Thursday, June 1st, 2023. Amberley Flowers informed Mr. Campbell that licenses could not be issued because the dwellings on the property were scheduled for complete demolition. At the time, the city was operating under an administrative policy that prohibited issuing licenses to unbuilt, unfurnished units. It's my interpretation, based on the next document I'm going to address, that there's confusion within the way this ordinance was written, the way it was interpreted, and the way it was implied, that it was applied. Stacy or Amberley says we'll get a license, then we're not going to get a license without a CO, and then there's no license at all ever issued to us because we were denied. But this is not an attachment, but it's probably a document that you're all very familiar with. An exhibit from Aaron Pope that was part of the Folly East Indian lawsuit against the city of Folly Beach. I'll just read a couple excerpts from that. Paragraph 20 of that document. On July 12, 2022, in an appeal of a denial of a business license, the city hearing officer ruled that the city had to issue a business license to a property owner before the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. The basic of the ruling was that the city's ordinance did not explicitly require a certificate of occupancy. The city was compelled to issue short-term rental licenses on properties that were undeveloped or still under construction.
Mr. Campbell, you're gonna run out of time here. Let me ask you a question.
All right?
You got a specific request?
I do. Yeah, let me do that. So those are basic facts. I understand you're not gonna give me a short-term rental license personally, but based on the facts, based on zoning, based on where I was, based on my application, you can make a ruling based on certain classes of property. Whether it be individuals that were under construction, that were purchased prior to the change in ordinance, that were in certain zoning districts. I'm in the second block of West Arctic. I'm not the only person in that area that has that problem. I'm surrounded by hundreds, dozens, if not hundreds of multifamily units. I'm surrounded by a public bathroom. There are individuals that were purchased properties that got caught in this because they started construction. Their understanding that they would receive a short-term rental license, they never did. I got caught up in that. Others got caught up in that. whatever it may be, there are multiple categories of zoning changes, of properties that had COs, that had short-term rental licenses, that then in turn lost their short-term rental licenses. To me, it's my hope that somehow we had a reasonable argument here that this property falls within one of those categories that is somehow part of the unintended consequences of the zoning changes. That's my point. That's my request.
So you understand, your request that they go back and look at changing an ordinance, that's what it'll take.
My request is that my property,
To answer your request, they'll have to change the ordinance.
they will have to, or they'll have to look at what the ordinance said at the time to see if I fall within that category.
But the ordinance has changed since that time. And-
But it didn't change.
And
There was
zoning
no-
laws have changed since that time. But anyway.
Yes, sir.
You got
But
your
that-
request in, I appreciate it.
But at that time, the ordinance, at the time I submitted my application and was denied, there were no changes to the language of that ordinance. Others received their short-term rental licenses under that same ordinance, and I did not.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Citizen comments? Is it on what's on the agenda? Mr. Parker,
It's a comment.
is it on what's on the agenda?
I'm not sure it's a comment.
Well, we only take what's on the agenda. We only talk about what's on the agenda.
Okay, it's on the agenda.
What is it?
It's on the agenda. I'm gonna, say something about Alan's personal appearance. Make a comment about that.
Okay,
Thank you for the opportunity to make a comment. I support, Mr. Campbell over there 100%. I'm also a neighbor of his on the second block west. Second block west is unique to any other block on this island. I could stand on my parcel and throw 4 rocks right across the street in Charleston Ocean Front condominiums. To the left, loggerheads, and 2 multifamily projects between me and Allen. When homes were built there, it might have been an attractive place to put a home. But now, with all this multifamily development and restaurant, it's not an attractive place to build a home for somebody that wants to move here permanently. And that's the only use that you have for that, like a land, is to sell it to somebody that wants to live here permanently, no other use. So, the change to short-term rental licenses, and let me just read it before I
no,
get off.
no,
Y'all can't read it?
you need to keep up with you said your comment was about Mr. Campbell's
That
problem.
is, it is. Okay.
You're going far afield from Mr. Campbell's process.
I'm talking about my project.
You're talking about your project, not Mr. Campbell's. You said you wanted to talk about Mr. Campbell's request.
Okay. Since Mr. Campbell only has one use for his property this time, it's not attractive to somebody coming in wanting to buy a second home. I had to turn somebody away yesterday when they found out they couldn't draw income if they bought as a second home. So he cannot sell it to somebody wanting a second home or an investor, both of them gone. There's only one of the 3 buyers for Folly Beach that remains, and that's somebody that wants to live here full time. It's not an attractive block, so that's why it's unique to the other parcels around here. All the parcels have suffered a tremendous and significant value loss since the referendum vote. I just had a appraisal.
Time's up. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment.
Any other comments?
I have one. I left something up here.
Don't leave nothing.
I did.
Especially the glass case.
Elton Gulf over 1280 East Arctic Avenue. I just want to bring one item on the, up for discussion or whatever. We don't go to approve the budget, but by the general fund revenue, under the property tax, you're budgeting, it looks like, I haven't run the exact number, it looks like a 5% increase. So that's literally impossible to happen because of the fact that if anybody's buying a piece of property in Folly Beach at this time, either they got to be living there full-time or it'd be their second home. And the investment properties at this particular time is not happening out here. We ran some numbers the other day, and properties $2 million and above since the referendum was put on, was voted on until May 23rd, was down 88% on sales on the island this year. So you're not going to see any revenue increase on that particular line. So we automatically $140,000 less coming in than what you've got projected now.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Darlene Rawls, 5 Red Sunset Lane. I want to thank all of you for your service, and my comment is about Resolution 3623. I really appreciate DJ calling me the other day, and I appreciate all of y'all meeting with Charleston Moves to talk about pedestrian safety on this island. My family's lived here for 25 years on the West End. Back then, Wild West down there. And about 7 years ago, SDOT came in and said an EMS truck can't make a 3-point turn. So parking was on 2 sides of the street, and they changed it to 1 side of the street for our safety. My understanding is during COVID, a very aggressive group forced SDOT to put parking on both sides of West Ashley. I know all of y'all in our public safety were against that, and I really know that. But now, when we leave our homes on the West End between 9th and 5th, we don't have a back road. And every single day, there's somebody that I almost hit. I have not had a parking ticket, speeding ticket, even though I speed sometimes, in decades. And for me, yesterday, my husband and I were walking down there, and 2 little children were playing, and they went to dash across the street, and I literally had to stand in front of a car and tell them to stop. It's gonna happen again. What I would love for y'all to do when Spencer Wetmore and Jennifer Honeycutt meet with SDOT is invite them to the West End on a Friday, because they don't work on Saturday, and just walk that street. It's not safe, and I know y'all know that. I only know the West End. I know the East End has the same issues. We had those signs for 7 years on one side. There's still plenty of parking for people. We just need to put the signs back. The other last thing I'll say is every single weekend, the fire hydrants, cars are parked right up next to them. We need to at least put no parking within 10 feet of a fire hydrant. And when we pull out at 5 West, I can't see left and right to make a left-hand turn because there's an SUV sitting there. And I know y'all know that. It's happened on our major roads. So please, let's just tell SDOT that they should be here for our safety. Let's get the signs out of storage and put them back on the road and let them come after us. They'll say, well, y'all get renourishment. Well, downtown Charleston has beautiful walkways, and they get tons of money for flooding. We shouldn't be treated differently in downtown Charleston. And again, I appreciate your service. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I just want to be on record that down there is terrible since this happened in August. It's really, really bad. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. To boards and commission and committee, no reports, but assignments. So, this is how it's gonna work. We'll go over this for the public. You ready to do all this counting? You and Will? So you ready?
Oh, yes.
So Mr. Pope will call your name. The first one is 2 vacancies. 2 reapplying, one on the general public that has 3 people applying, and one for culture that only has 1 person applying, reapplying, so that person doesn't have anybody running against him, and one for hospitality that only has 1 applying, so.
And so how
One
many?
name.
How many total?
One name off the top line, that's all you need to do.
Does those 2 already get it?
Well, unless you wanna, those 2 are the only 2 that's from culture and lodging.
Right, so they get it?
Yeah, so they get it.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Pope?
So for the general public position on the TVPC. Mr. Barker?
Alley.
Mr. Farley?
Alley.
Mr. Grooms?
Alley.
Dr. Houghton?
Reapplying Hallie.
Mr. Ellis?
Hallie.
Mr. Rich?
Alley.
Mayor Goodwin?
Mr. Halley.
Mr. Halley.
Okay, Community Promotions Committee. Under General Public, we have two people, one Leslie Miller reapplying and Kim Yeager. Yeager? I guessed it right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Rutledge is the only one applying as a business owner, so it'll be one of the two names under General Public. Mr. Public.
Mr. Rich?
Miller.
Mr. Ellis?
Yeager.
Dr. Houghton?
Miller reapplying.
Mr. Grooms?
Miller.
Mr. Farley?
Miller.
Mr. Barker?
Miller.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yeager.
Ms. Miller is appointed.
Wins, yeah. For Parks and Recreation, I would accept a motion to accept as you received them.
Second.
Without exception, guys? Okay.
Mayor, just for
You wanna
folks
read them?
listening, on this Aaron Swinson and Janessa Frameda, those guys were the only applicants for the spots.
Okay. Ready? The Zoning Board of Appeals, Zoning Appeals Board, excuse me. There's 5 general public slots open, and we have a plethora of folks applying, so call out 5 names, if you would.
Okay, we just call out the number?
It would be easier for them with a name, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if you don't mind saying the name.
Okay, yep.
Dr. Houghton?
Cato, just do all 5 right now?
Mhm.
Okay, Cato reapplying, Miller reapplying, Stevenson reapplying, no appointment Pete's, Denninger reapplying.
Thank you. Mr. Farley?
Cato, Miller, Stevenson, Denninger, Capel.
Thank you. Mr. Ellis?
Miller, Stevenson, Denninger, Capel.
One more.
Number 6,
Demuro?
Sharon.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rich?
Cato, Miller, Stevenson, Denninger, Capo.
Mr. Grooms?
Miller, Stevenson, Peets, Denninger, Demuro.
Mr. Barker?
Miller, Capel, Cato, Denninger, Stevenson.
And Mayor Goodwin.
Doesn't matter. So Cato, Miller, Stevenson, Peaks, and Denninger. So Kristen's got it all together.
Could you do that, just so that I'm clear? Capel,
We'll take a minute.
sorry.
Oh, that's you, okay.
Les, when you tally yours. Excuse me, Les. So, Ms. Cato, Mr. Miller, Mr. Stevenson, Ms. Denninger, and Ms. Capel.
Thank you. Sorry, one more time.
Cato, Miller, Stevenson, Denninger, and Capel.
Okay, ATAX Hospitality, or Advisory Board, excuse me. We have one applying from hospitality, Mr. Gustafson, so he's in. And we have two folks applying from the general public. William Hampton is reapplying, and Ms. Kim Yeager is applying from the general public. We don't have one from lodging right now, so we'll be back to this one later. So it'll just be one name.
Mr. Barker,
Hampton.
Mr. Farley,
Hampton.
Mr. Grooms,
Yeager.
Dr. Houghton,
Hampton.
Mr. Ellis,
Yeager.
Mr. Rich, Mayor Goodwin.
Yeager.
All right, Mr. Hampton.
Hampton wins. For the next board, Construction and Fire Board of Adjustments and Appeals, we had Amanda Griffith reapplying as architect, Larry Elkin is reapplying as mechanical engineer, and Mark Lazos is reapplying as fire protection engineer. There was no other folks applying, so do I have a motion to accept as presented? Have a second?
Second.
Any objections? Without objection. Utility Advisory Board, we have Ms. Becky Dennis reapplying after how many years? Or did she leave me? She left me. How many years she been there? She's been on it since it started. However many years ago that was.
At least 12 that I know.
Yeah. Megan Moody and Jamie Wilson reapplying. Those are the only applications. They filled, all three slots. I have a motion to accept as presented.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any objections? So without objection. The Design Review Board. We have two for the general public, Pamela Barton and Skip Fink reapplying, and one architect, Alan Kenner, reapplying. No one else is applying. Do I have a motion? There you go. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any objections? Without objection. Planning Commission, we have a plethora of people applying. Ms. Capel's name is taken off of it because she's already been elected to a board. So now we have 5 folks applying for 2 general public slots. So give 2 names with Mr. Pope calls your name.
I just need clarification. I did not realize that you could run for 2.
Well, she can't serve on 2, so once she got elected to 1, her name comes off.
I'm in the same boat. I thought she'd drop off on 1 if she
Yeah.
was elected to 2.
Me too.
We never did that before.
I don't think we've had this happen before.
Well,
Usually we're fighting to get people
Why
set
don't you
up.
just ask her what she wants to serve, which one?
Because we haven't voted on planning commission.
you haven't voted on this one yet.
Well,
Well, let's just vote
What
and
do you
see. I mean,
I didn't realize.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, if she comes out zoning appeals, then we'll have to revote on that, won't
Well, then you just go to the person who got the next
The
number of
next
votes.
votes.
There's only one person got any votes.
Yeah, the next one.
Okay,
That seems fair.
All right. 2 names.
2 names still.
Dr. Houghton,
Capel and O'Connell.
Mr. Grooms,
O'Connell, Capel.
Mr. Farley,
Ashley O'Connell.
Mr. Barker,
we? O'Connell, Bolus.
Mr. Rich,
McConnell, Capel.
Mr. Ellis,
Otis Capel.
Mayor Goodwin.
Ashley O'Connell.
So the highest votes were Mr. O'Connell and Ms. Capel.
Which board you want? Okay, so that brings Ms. Ann Peets on the zoning appeals board.
Should we get a chance to vote on it again?
She was the only one that got a vote other than,
Ms. DeMuro got 2 votes.
I think we should,
oh, excuse me.
I think we should
I'm
pick-
sorry, I missed her. Yeah,
pick
all right.
one of the 3 remaining.
So you got number 6, DeMuro, number 7, and number 4.
Mr. Rich,
And Pete's.
Mr. Ellis,
And Pete.
Dr. Hope,
Pete's.
Mr. Williams,
DeMuro.
Mr. Farley,
DeMuro.
Mr. Barker, Mayor Goodwin.
Pete's.
Ms. Peets wins.
Okay.
That's almost as fun as a hermit crab race.
And almost. Just depends on if you heat up the plate for the hermit crab. Okay.
I can't believe nobody ran against Skip Three. I know. That guy. Thanks for your help.
So, under old business, we had ordinance 12-23. Ordinance amending the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, chapter 31, by changing the date of future mayoral and council elections from April of even years to November of odd years, and transferring authority to conduct future elections to the Charleston County Board of Elections. So, second reading, have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
I'm sorry, were there any questions or comments?
No.
All right, sorry. Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin,
Yes.
passes second.
So ordinance 13-23, this is the second reading. An ordinance to revise Title III Administration, Chapter 36, Finances, Subchapter 6, Unreserved Fund Balance by the Folly Beach City Council. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments?
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin,
Since it was Lee's idea, no. I was just kidding. Ordinance 15-23, oh, excuse me, 14-23, sorry about that. Ordinance to provide for the adoption of the fiscal year 2024 general fund budgets containing estimates of proposed revenues and expenditures for the city of Folly Beach, South Carolina, beginning July the 1st, 2023, and ending June the 30th, 2024. Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin,
Yes.
passes.
Ordinance 15-23, an ordinance establishing the sewer utility budget and appropriating the necessary funds for the operation of the Folly Beach Sewer Utility for fiscal year 2024, beginning July the 1st, 2023, and ending June the 30th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
This is the second reading also. Any questions or comments? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin,
Yes.
passes.
So ordinance 16-23, an ordinance establishing the water utility budget and appropriating the necessary funds for operating the Folly Beach water utility for fiscal year 2024, beginning July the 1st, 2023, and ending June the 30th, 2024. Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin,
Yes.
passes.
Riders cramp yet? Resolution 35-23, a resolution by the Folly Beach City Council approving an additional $18,500 amendment to the contract between the City of Folly Beach and AMT to expand the scope of work for the Arctic Avenue plan to include a traffic signal study to provide SCDOT required documentation for traffic signal timing, crosswalk changes, and push-button upgrades at the intersection of Ashley and Center Street. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Passes.
Resolution 36-23, a resolution by Folly Beach City Council joining State Representative Spencer Wetmore and Charleston County Council member Jenny Honeycutt, asking DOT for a safety audit throughout the city of Folly Beach. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Pope.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
Passes.
Resolution 37-23, a resolution by the City of Folly Beach City Council accepting a settlement agreement between the City of Folly Beach and add revocable trust allowing a 5-foot front yard encroachment and denying any encroachment into the dune management area at 1567 East Ashley Avenue. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Do I have a second? It dies, no second. So it's a no. Mr. Rich, would you like to start city council comments?
Thank everybody for coming. It was nice to see some new names on the boards and committees applications. If you were selected tonight, I would say keep trying. Typically, people seeking reappointment do get reappointed as long as there's not a grave injustice or we just don't like what they're doing. If you can fit into another slot, there are some other slots, so by all means, please do. We love new faces and new ideas. They all contribute to a better product overall. Thank y'all for following up the DOT ask, and that's about it, man. Y'all have a good night.
Mr. Barker.
Have a wonderful Independence Day holiday.
I apologize, last month was Mental Health Awareness Month, and I should have recognized that. So that was May, and June also could be known as Pride Month, so I'd also like to recognize that. And I would also echo that involvement, votes, it's America, so thanks a million.
Nothing to it.
So I would just want to represent the concept that people, before they walk their dogs on the pavement, should feel the pavement. It's too hot for their little toe beans. That their feet aren't like fit to where they can walk on a hotter surface than a human does. So I just like, somehow make public awareness.
So you want everyone walking their dog in the middle of the day, walk their dog barefoot?
No, don't walk your dog.
I'm talking
on a
about you
hot-
be barefooted when you walk your dog. You won't go walk them if you're gonna be
Right.
barefoot.
Well, there you go.
Welcome to the
Who's got the foot up?
Mr.
The
Green?
front out.
Tomorrow's a very special day. It is Flag Day. So if you've got an American flag, put it up. And rolling into that, I'd like to thank Public Safety. I know for the past several weeks and several months, they've really been challenged with some, a lot of arrests, some, of course, drownings, some motor vehicle accidents. So they've really come to, I guess, a good thing for our community. And I appreciate everybody's support of them and everything that they've done. Also, I'd like to put a shout out to Lee and the staff for putting together the budget. It's never easy. A lot of numbers, a lot of lines, and a lot of debate. So they did a really nice job in putting that together so we could approve it. So thank you to both departments.
So before I entertain a motion to adjourn, I would like to say June is a lot of stuff to a lot of people, but nobody said Happy Father's Day. So all you fathers out there, Happy Father's Day. A move to adjourn?
So moved.
Operator at 7:57.
I can't believe you got that.
That was amazing. Taylor, I'm working on the contract.